Splatoon 3 is out now, and while many of you have played before, we've got 6 tips geared toward beginner-level players who at least know the premise of Splatoon as a franchise, but maybe haven't played yet or haven't played much yet. Keep in mind, these tips will be about Turf War rather than the other modes in the game. Number 1. It's obvious, but for Turf War, it's not about the KOs. It's about how much of the level you've inked compared to the other team. KOs are great and all because it disrupts the process of the enemy's inking, but again, know where the points come from. And I promise, the other tips here will be a bit more advanced compared to this one. It's just the opener. Number 2. You can see where your opponent is going to land if they super jump to one of their teammates. You'll notice a circular icon that shows where someone from the enemy team is going to land whenever they opt to jump over to their teammates after respawning. The circle will be the enemy's team color, say the person's name who's landing, and it'll even have an arrow pointing down above it. This arrow is actually significant because you'll see the color drain from the arrow, indicating when the opposing player is about to land. Definitely start splatting them immediately as they land if you can. Number 3. The logos of the squid heads and octoling heads at the top middle of the screen indicate which team is in the lead. Because there's not exactly a scoreboard or something with numbers during the match really, you can use the head logos there to get an idea of which team leads. Sometimes it's incredibly close, and you don't know who's gonna win. Number 4. Know the stages. Get to know the lay of the land. It might honestly be more important to learn the level layouts first before your favorite weapons, because the weapons can all come later, you can train with them, but getting to know the stages is where the mental strategies can come into play throughout your entire Splatoon 3 experience. This will not only help you start your matches, but then adjust if, let's say as some random example, someone is pinning you down and ruining your normal path you start from in any particular stage. If you know it well, you'll be able to head around if you can't best them in battle. Number 5. Start the match by deviating from your teammates, bar any strategy you may have come up with when playing with people that you know well. What this means essentially is that you should try to make your first jump onto the stage of a match away from the rest of your teammates. The idea is not to ink over turf they're already inking over right from the start. You can always get more ink in the future of the match when you respawn back at the base, but in the very start of the match, separating and then meeting back maybe towards the middle is the strategy that will ink the most turf early on, spreading your resources out as a team. And I suppose it's your choice and your strategy whether you're going to meet back up in the middle after that or not. But again, in the beginning. And number 6, don't get splatted in the last 20 seconds, especially the last 10. You obviously just don't ever want to be splatted because it disrupts the flow you and your team might be in, inking up turf and all of that. Plus, it can hurt your feelings, okay? But arguably, some of the most pivotal and most important seconds of the match would happen after the last 30. When the clock gets down to about 20 seconds left in the game, you're usually at a point where it'll take too long to really accomplish much after you have to take time to respawn from the KO and either jump to an ally or swim back to inkable turf for points. And being that all inking obviously stops at 0, you want to metaphorically have the last laugh by inking so much in that last 10 seconds while no one is then able to ink back over it. Getting KO'd at 10 seconds basically means you're done for the remainder of that match. So there you have it. There's certainly more tips one could give, and we could get into advanced and expert techniques and all that, but this will give any beginners a good mental footing to set up for all of your turf war endeavors. I hope this helps. Let me know, and please click an end screen on screen to see another one. Join our Discord to meet up and play with other people, and thanks for viewing.